Yomawari Lost in the Dark is the third game in the Yomawari series, a series which I first played way back on the PlayStation Vita. You know, that ill-fated console. Speaking of being ill-fated, you will always play as a young girl with a very tragic and torturous backstory. That is how this game draws you in, is how it flourishes, is by telling you that story and making you unlock different memories to sympathize with you, the character. Even though I'm a very old man playing as a little girl, let's not read into it too much, but you still relate with that character, and obviously you feel for them, you feel for yourself as you go through it. Another thing the Yomawari series has done so well, and always has done, is having you on the edge of your seat when it comes to the atmosphere. Is each corner just going to be lurking with danger? Are you finally going to find that safe spot? Are you going to be able to go down a road without any issues at all? The answer to that is no. There's always going to be something that is either chasing you, lurking around the corner, or is just there to tease you for the sake of teasing you. There are plenty of hidden secrets as well. I mean, that's why they're called secrets, because they're hidden. But it's not even just a case of it affects the story, it is just for the sake of being there a lot of the time. But it adds to the environment, adds to the atmosphere, and adds that eeriness which we love in our horror games. These can range from just someone shouting at you through a window, some knocking noises, some extra footsteps, even though there's nothing there. They are very minor, or it could end up being a little side quest, whether it be the ghost of just a corpse is just suddenly gone, you know, I hate you, and I'm going to track you down with this knife because you were the one that did this to me. Turns out you weren't, and it was all fine. It's like, oh, I'm sorry, okay, I'll take my corpse with me, and it just drags it and disappears. This game has plenty of little oddities which are just there to get you sidetracked. My personal favourites of those are the ghost stories, figuring out what had happened to them and then actually going, oh okay, right, let's try and help this, let's help them pass on, let's help them rest in peace, you know, that typical thing. Or being chased by a giant chicken for trying to protect the baby chicks. Another thing which I adored through this game is just all the different enemy designs. They always seem to be on the side of being cute yet creepy, and when you are being chased by these things, they are no longer cute in the slightest. Your heartbeat will be racing as always, and unfortunately this comes into the downside of the game, the stamina meter and the movement speed. So in my opinion, in my well-adjusted opinion, when it comes to you being chased to at the very edge of your life, I think I would speed up when it comes to running away. However, this game has the opposite opinion. When you are in danger of your life being taken from you as a tiny little girl, you will not pick up speed. You will stay the same. And worst of all, because your heartbeat is racing about 2 million miles a second, your stamina depletes much faster. So unless it is the very basic ghost chasing you, you will always be caught and you will die over and over and over again. It is a vicious cycle, and it is such a shame because this game, the environment you get to explore is a pleasure to go around, as what it is to say when it's a horror game. It is a pleasure to walk around. However, when you keep dying and have to go back to the last Jizo statue, it becomes a chore very quickly. Another thing is that while there are hundreds of collectibles, each with their own descriptions, some with funny descriptions, some with more serious descriptions, there's too many. There's just too many. So you will find out that you will go down this long corridor just to pick up a thing and it'll just be like, it's a shoe. That's it. There's nothing extra. You don't give it to a ghost. There's nothing like that. Some of which you do, but more often not, it's just a case of, oh, you found a pencil. Good job you. It can be extremely frustrating and takes away a lot from the game. And couple that with the slow movement speed, it is extremely infuriating when you have to do it time and time and time again. The best way to fix this issue, other than, you know, increasing the movement speed, is by adding a different gameplay element. Specifically something which would fit well with the genre. So it could be puzzle solving. Maybe you get these weird Rubik's Cube type things which you find throughout the game, finding the environment, and you then have to solve them. Or even if it's, dare I say, slide puzzles. As long as it's something to then break up the monotony of moving around the world, it would help massively. Another solution would be kind of adding a detective side to the game. So if there are multiple different ghosts, baddie ghosts, evil ghosts, which are chasing you through the environment, why not then just try and go through like a checklist of how to solve the problem? So you find bits and pieces, you find clues, which will give you a way to either combat them or to send them off in a nice peaceful ritual style way. Just something else, something extra to change the gameplay from going to point A, point B, dying, going back to point A and point B again. It would help this game massively and would have my attention constantly, instead of just like, okay, I need to put on a podcast, I need to put on some music because I'm sick of doing this same section over and over again. It is such a shame that it kind of gets in its own way, whereas the things it does well, it does incredibly well. I love the atmosphere, I love the design of the world, I love the enemy designs, I love even the characters and the story, but it just is a really annoying section of the game which really does get in the way and kind of leaves a bitter taste in your mouth. Let's hope it's bitter taste on my skin, because the ghosts keep eating me and I don't want to taste good.